Hello and welcome to this series on Jenkins Beginner tutorial. This is the 7th session and today we are going to see how can we get started with jobs in Jenkins. So we are going to learn how can we create some basic jobs in Jenkins, what are the basic configurations. We will also run our jobs remotely and we will also see how can we change the execution of our jobs. Okay, so let us begin and let us see what is our step one. So we have to go to our Jenkins and we have to create a new item and then we have to add uh, details of the item. So I'm going to my Jenkins and you see new item here. So just click here and you will be taken to the details to enter the name of your project or the job. So let me say the name is test 1. Okay, and you can select a freestyle or a multi configuration project. For this session let us go with the freestyle project and click on OK. Okay, so as soon as you click on OK you will be taken to this window where you can provide different details for your job. So we have these 5 sections available as of now: general, source code management, build triggers, build and post build actions. So let us go to general. So here you can provide a very quick description to your project or job. So let me say this is test project 1 and if I click on preview this is how it will look like. And as we have seen in our earlier session, we can also use HTML tags. So I am using tag h2 here. Okay, and let me preview, and now this is how my description will look like. Okay, so this is how we can give the description to our project. Okay, then let us go to source code management. So here in case you want to uh, take the build from any source code system like a git or a subversion, you will get the details here. We will need to add plugins for those source code repositories which we have not added as of now, but in the coming sessions we will see how exactly we can get our build and trigger our job from a source code management system. Let us go to build triggers. Now in build triggers you have different options. You can trigger the build remotely. Okay, and we can build after other projects are built. We can build periodically or poll SEM. Okay, poll SEM means that we have a source code management system, and in case we have configured with any SCM like a git repository, as soon as a build takes place in that repository our job should get executed. Okay, in the coming session we will exactly see how can we use this option, but for this session let me explain you what does build periodically means. Okay, so build periodically means that we can assign some expression here, and based on that expression our job will be executed at some particular interval. Okay, and to know exactly how we can configure this, you can click on this help icon and it will show you exactly what are all the parameters. So we have to give our syntax in this form. Okay, and here are all the values that can be used. For minute it is 0 to 59, for hour it is 0 to 23, and so on, right? And it gives a very good description that what all you can use. So for example, I want to say I want to give star in all my parameters. I will give a space between these star, and as soon as I click outside, Jenkins gives me a message. Do you really mean every minute when you say star 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 star? Okay, so it also gives you what will happen if you give this expression. So the last run would have been at this particular time and the next run will be at this particular time, which is exactly the same time. So we are making our Jenkins to run this job every minute, right? If you want some other interval, you can say, let us say this is every 15 minutes. We can use this expression. Okay, and here now it is saying the last run would have been at 5:54, next will be at 6:09. So there is a gap of 15 minutes. So we can assign a fixed periodic interval to our jobs using this cron expression. So as of now let me just put star 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 star, which means every minute, and we will see exactly what happens in this case. Okay, so I'm just leaving it as it is. Okay, let us go to build. Now in build you can add any build step. As of now we are getting very basic steps because we have not added many of the other plugins which we will see in the next sessions. For now let us select either a Windows batch command or execute shell. If you are on Windows you can select execute Windows batch command. Okay, and then you can give some command like dir or date or any command that can be executed on command prompt. For me it should be a shell because I'm recording this tutorial on a Mac, so I will say execute shell and I'll give some command like date. Okay, now coming to post build actions. Now this is very important because after you build your project you will need to do something. For example, you want to build some other project after this particular project is completed, or you want to send out some report notification, or you want to trigger some acceptance test or performance test, right? So this is where this section is used for. Again, we will not use it for this session but we will use it in the next sessions. As of now I'm leaving it blank and I will click on apply. Okay, this is saved and I will save, and this is my project page. I will go back to my dashboard and now I can see my project here, right? It is here, right? So in the dashboard you have different columns. The first column is the status of the last build. So this is gray because it is not built at all. Once we build it, it will turn to blue if it's successful or red if it is unsuccessful. So let me just build it. I can just go from here and say build now, or I can also go to the my project page and say build now. Okay, so it will build. I can look at the I can go here and look at the console output. So see, we executed the date command, it executed successfully, so the status is success. If we go back to our dashboard we can see now this has turned to blue because the last run was successful. Then we have a next column which is a weather report showing aggregated status of recent build. Now what does this mean is this column takes into account the last 5 runs of this particular job or project, and based on the count of success or failures in the last 5 runs this icon gets changed, right? So now if you see it is saying build stability, no reason build failed. If I go to configure project and let me make some mistake, I'm saying DAT instead of DATE, which is actually wrong and it should fail, right? Now I will save it. Okay, I will build my project, and now did you see this uh, ball turned red because it is based on the status of the last build, and this is based on the status of the last 5 builds. So it is saying 1 out of 4 builds failed, and that is why it turned to a cloudy sun. If I run it again, let us see, this will change. Now see, it has again turned to uh, a rainy cloud because last 3 out of 5 builds failed. If I run it again, now you can see it has again changed and it is saying 4 out of last 5 builds failed. Now again if we make the corrections and say this is DATE, apply and save. Okay, let me build my project. Now see, you can see this build history here as well. On your project home page you can see all these details. Okay, and you can configure, go to configure project. From here you can delete the project, you can build now, you can go to your workspace, you can see what all changed, and then the entire history of your builds is here. You can click on any of the uh, records here. Okay, and you will get exactly what happened in that build, right? You can see the console output. So what exactly happened is we executed the wrong command, and this is the error message, command not found, and that's why it's a failure, right? So you can go like this. Okay, this was a success. So this page becomes very handy if you want to look at what exactly happened in any of the previous build, what was the time it was executed, and so on. If you go to the dashboard, again for every project you will get what was the last success, okay, which build was the last success, what was the last failure, how much time it has been, and what was the build number that failed, and what was the duration of your last build. Okay, so this is how you can configure a very basic project. Also, let us look at how can you trigger the job remotely. Okay, so let us go to our project and let us go to configure. Okay, let us go to build triggers. Okay, now I will turn this one as off, and I will say trigger builds remotely. Okay, and as soon as I click here, Jenkins gives me this URL. Okay, this is the URL. What I can do is I can just copy it from here, go to a different tab of my browser, paste it. This particular section Jenkins URL I have to change with my URL. So as of now I am on localhost, so I'll just say localhost 8080. Okay, and this is the token name. So the token name is whatever you will provide here. So you can provide some complex string here, so it is kind of a password. For this session I'm just saying 1234, and I will say the same token here 1234. Okay, and I will just say apply and save. I will go to my Jenkins dashboard, and you can see this is test 1, and it was last executed, let me go here, and last it was executed at 6:12 a.m. okay, which was build number 11. Okay, so let me again go to my Jenkins dashboard. Okay, so the last build was build number 11. Now what I'm doing is I'm just going to any other system or any other browser. So you can actually give your IP here instead of localhost, and then you can execute this command from any other machine as well, which can connect to this particular Jenkins machine. So I'm just running this. Okay, I go back to my Jenkins, and did you see this build queue? So my test 1 project is queued already. Okay, and now we can, if I again go to refresh it, you can see the last success was 4 seconds ago, and build number 12 has already been executed. Okay, so we triggered this build from outside, we did not trigger it from within Jenkins but from outside. So this is how you can trigger your jobs from outside. Okay, let us also see how to chain job executions. Okay, so for that let me quickly create two new project. I will create test2 and freestyle project, and I will just give some command here, execute shell, any command, apply and save. Let me create another project, test3. This is also a freestyle project, and again let me give some shell command. That's it, save, and yes, see now I have three projects, test1, test2 and test3. Let me go to test2 and go to configure. Now I go to build triggers, and here I am saying build after other projects are built. So the trigger for this particular project will come from another project, and as soon as the that project will get completed, this project should get built. So here I am giving the name of the project, which is test1. You can give multiple project names here, but as of now I just want a single project. Okay, and I can also select trigger only if build is stable, or trigger even if the build is unstable, trigger even if the build fails. So as of now I am saying that only if the build is stable for test 1 project, then build this particular project. Okay, I will say apply. Okay, and then in the post build actions I will select build other projects. Okay, so this is a post build action that after this particular project is built, I want to build another project which is test 3. And again you can give multiple projects here, and I am saying trigger only if the build is stable, and I will say apply and save. Okay, now you can see for test 2 there is no build history. Let us go back to dashboard and go to test 3. Again for project test 3 there is no build history. Let us go to the dashboard. You can see for test 2 there is no execution, for test 3 as well as there is no execution. So let me run test 1 now. As soon as our test 1 is completed, test 2 should get executed, and as soon as our test 2 is completed, test 3 should get executed. And this is how we have chained these 3 projects. So let me go and run my test 1. Okay, so test 1 got executed, and you can see in the queue we have test 2 now, and now you can see in the build queue we have test 3 now. So test 3 is getting executed. Okay, so see, test 2 got executed 1.5 seconds ago, and there is one build of this particular project. I will refresh it again. Test 3 does not have anything. As soon as I refresh it, you will see even test 3 got executed. So if I go to test 2, there is one build, and test 3 again there is one build. So this is how we can chain our projects and their executions. Okay, so this was all about very basics of job. There is a lot more to learn, and in the coming sessions we will go very deeply, and we will see how exactly we manage different configurations, and how we take our code from a repository, and how can we trigger from a git or a subversion. Okay, hope you like it. Thank you.